Welcome to this episode of the Sports Detective Podcast Show. My name is James Williams, and today we discuss if the New York Giants sent Odell Beckham Jr. to the Cleveland Browns to die. Why are we talking about this? Because Odell said that very exact same quote that I just said on his teammate Marlon Humphrey's podcast. We'll go ahead and play this clip from the Punchline podcast, I believe is what it's called, and then we will discuss it a little deeper and kind of point out where Odell might be right in some cases here and where he is very, very wrong in other cases here. So we'll go ahead here. We got it up on the screen. We'll play this and then we'll talk about it after.
There's a bit of me that feel like the Giants sent me off. I've said it before, sent me off to Cleveland to die. I could have went to the 49ers. I could have went to the Patriots. I could have went to teams that had, a chance to be great. And that's not what the desire was. The desire, you can't tell me that this was the best trade package we could have got for you. Your desire was to, you know, kind of fuck me over a little bit. It's how I feel. You feel like I made a fool of you or the organization, and that was never truly my intention. I'm just that competitive. I wanted to win. I always wanted to win. I'm tired of being 6-10. We haven't done anything to make changes. Eli's going out. I'm texting Eli like you're seventh on the list. You know what I mean? For the greatest of all time. I want to see Eli go out with another Super Bowl. We're not putting the pieces around him, and I feel like I was being wasted as well. That's how stats is cool and shit.
All right, so there you have it, guys. He clearly thought that the Giants sent him to Cleveland out of spite. So let's address that first thing that he said there in that part where he said that the Giants turned down or could have gotten, he didn't necessarily say turned down, but could have gotten better trade packages for him than they actually got from the Browns. So let's talk about that. He mentioned the 49ers there. So the 49ers, as we know, if you've been following the NFL, they have been prone to make big time trades over the last few years and get, star players on other teams that either might be unhappy on their current team or guys that are on a team that looks like they're getting ready to tank. They're more of a rebuilding process. So the 49ers will give up assets to get a player. So let's just bring up two of those trades. Let's bring up the Trent Williams trade that happened in 2020. Because remember, Odell was traded in 2019. Trent Williams was traded for in 2020. This is what they got in that trade. This is what the 49ers gave up to get Trent Williams. They gave up a 2020 fifth round pick and a 2021 third round pick. Okay, so only 2 picks for one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL. That's a heist. That is an absolute heist they pulled off. Now Trent Williams, I believe, requested a trade. He wasn't happy in Washington for multiple years, so that's probably why. That's why that they only got had to give up 2 middle and late round picks for him. Last year, the 49ers trade for Christian McCaffrey. They give up a 2023 second round pick, third round pick, and fourth round pick, and a 2024 fifth round pick. So a second, third, fourth, fifth. So 4 picks. Semi-decent haul for Christian McCaffrey, but since the 49ers got Christian McCaffrey, he has been the best running back in the NFL, top 2, top 3, wherever you want to rank him. So that was, again, a pretty good trade for the 49ers. Here is what the Browns got for Odell Beckham Jr. So they sent Odell and Olivier Vernon, who was a Pro Bowler the previous year when they traded him, because he was a Pro Bowler in 2018. And then they traded him with Odell in 2019. So they're basically sending, you would say, 2 Pro Bowl caliber players to Cleveland for a 2019 first round pick, a 2019 third round pick, and Jabril Peppers and Keith Zietler. Jabril Peppers, as we know, he was kind of one of the pieces in that trade. He was a starting safety in the NFL, still is. Keith Zietler, who was a starting offensive lineman, still is a starting offensive lineman in the NFL. I don't know what happened to the third round pick. But you know what that first round pick for the Giants turned out to be? Because it was the 17th pick in the draft. It turned out to be Dexter Lawrence, who Dexter Lawrence is one of the better defensive linemen in the NFL. Now, I don't know where you would rank him. He made the Pro Bowl this year. He's made the Pro Bowl the last 2 years, second team All-Pro. So he's a very, very good player. And are you telling me that the 49ers would have given up, if we're just comparing the trade packages, if you're comparing the package that the Giants got for Odell Beckham, comparing it to Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey, who, again, at the time of this trade, Odell's stock was lower than Christian McCaffrey and Trent Williams, because Odell Beckham was traded in 2019. He hadn't made a Pro Bowl since 2016. So he had 2 years of kind of injuries and downwards production, and he had this huge contract that had a lot of money and years left on it. So, are you telling me that the 49ers would have given up a first round pick for you? The New England Patriots would have given up a first round pick for you? Because you said the Patriots too. They wouldn't have. No, they wouldn't have. Everything we know about the 49ers and the Patriots, they wouldn't have given up that much assets for you. So this was the best package that they could have gotten. If maybe there was a different package out there that would have been more stuff for you, and maybe there's like a 5% part of them that sent you to Cleveland out of spite, but like I don't think they sent it to you out of spite, dude. I don't think that at all. Because like again, too, go back and look at that trade. The Giants, I think, won the trade because they still have Dexter Lawrence, who is, a very much a difference maker on their defense. That's why the Giants with him and Thibodeau have like a pretty good, foundation for a defensive line. Like, I think the Giants won that trade because if you look at Odell in Cleveland, he obviously tears his ACL the second year. So they basically only get like a year and a quarter out of Odell. He is feuding with Baker Mayfield. And like Cleveland lost that trade, dude. And Olivier Vernon too. Like I think he only played 1 year and then he retired, I believe is what happened. He was basically out of the league after a year. So like the Giants won that trade. And two, to the part of like, oh, they wanted to send me to this bad franchise. Dude, they weren't sending you there after an 0-16 season. They were sending you there. Cleveland, if you remember at that time, had a lot of momentum going. They had a lot of momentum going. They had the second half of the year where they fire Hugh Jackson and then Greg Williams takes over and they really kind of finish strong, and then they hire Freddie Kitchens. They had a lot of momentum. They had Jarvis Landry, so it was like, oh, Odell and Jarvis Landry, college teammates, they'll get along together. They'll help, build chemistry together with Baker, and the Cleveland Browns should be a playoff team, which in 2 years they ended up being. The first year was obviously completely a dysfunctional mess, but Odell wasn't blameless in that entire situation either. So, and again, I'm not trying to say Baker Mayfield's some sort of saint or anything, and Odell should have gotten along with Baker, because anything we know about Baker, he can be pretty hard to get along with sometimes. He can be a little gruff. He can be a little off-putting, but like, dude, this wasn't a trade where like they were sending you to like, football Siberia. Like, I think you kind of thought that, and I think you clearly acted like that was the case instead of actually buying into what Cleveland was trying to do and what Baker was. Because also another part of that trade too, guys, was Odell Beckham was considered to be one of the best slant route runners in the NFL. And Baker Mayfield was considered to be one of the best passers to guys running slant routes. Like that was like one of Baker's like best throws or most efficient throws. So there was actually a decent like pairing on paper. And again, you could say, is one of them to blame more than the other? I don't know why that relationship didn't work. Was it literally an Odell just not liking Cleveland type of thing? I don't know. But obviously the tenure did get kind of cut short because he tears the ACL. And then the next season, the Browns end up cutting him. He ends up signing with the Rams. And credit to Odell too. The one thing I said he thought was true in there was that he wants to win, because he isn't like DeAndre Hopkins, where it's like DeAndre Hopkins got cut by the Cardinals. And he's like, I want to go to a winner, and then I'll sign with the Titans, who don't have a quarterback and are one of the worst teams in the NFL. It's like, wait, couldn't you have signed with the Ravens? Couldn't you have signed with the Chiefs if you really wanted to win? It's like, no, you wanted the money, and that's fine. That is completely fine. It's okay to go situations for money, but if you're going to do that, sometimes your team might not be that successful. Anyway, we'll kind of stop talking about DeAndre Hopkins there for a second. And again, I do think Odell wanted to win. That's why he signed with the Rams. And to Odell's credit, if you go back and look at that NFC Championship game the Rams played that year against the 49ers when they had Odell was freaking awesome. He had like over 100 receiving yards, excuse me. He had like 9 catches. He was awesome. He had a few catches in the Super Bowl, and then he ends up tearing his ACL. So he's a big part of that Super Bowl team, at least on the playoff run. So credit to Odell for getting Super Bowl championship. And it looks like the Ravens, the team that he's on now, he has another very, very good shot to get a Super Bowl there. This will be like kind of the last point, because he mentioned Eli Manning there. Eli Manning was washed those last few years. Even so, they traded Odell March 2019. A month later, they drafted Daniel Jones. So that was the Giants' 2 first-round picks that they had in that draft. They got Dexter Lawrence at 17. Daniel Jones, I believe, was 5. He's 5 or 6, I can't remember. Um, so they were ready to move on. And I actually think it would have been an interesting thing for if Odell would have said this too. And again, clearly he wanted to win. He got sent to the Browns when he signed with the Browns, or excuse me, got traded to the Browns too. He said all the right things, like I'm ready to win. I'm happy that the direction this organization is going. Yada yada yada. All the kind of things, basic things that guys say when they get to a new team. But I do think it would have been interesting if Odell would have said this because it's like I think he clearly liked being in New York and like being the spotlight. And I think that's we talked about this with Carmelo, last week where it was like I think the idea of Odell and the star of Odell and the celebrity of Odell is way better than him as a wide receiver and what he actually was because he was very talented his first 3 years, but since 2016, he's been more known for things off the field and being injured than he actually is being a successful player. And he has had bright moments since then, but he hasn't had a Pro Bowl appearance since 2016. He hasn't had a double digit touchdown season since 2016. I think he got over 1,000 yards that 1 year with Cleveland, but other than that, it's just been kind of injuries and kind of distractions. Um, with that being said, too, it would have been interesting for him to say, "Hey, New York was about to move off of Eli Manning because he was getting up there in age, and they're getting ready to draft Daniel Jones. What if they would have kept Odell, still would have drafted Daniel Jones, and they would have Odell, Daniel Jones, and Saquon Barkley. That would have been an interesting kind of duo or trio there. Because, two, if you've been paying attention to the New York Giants since they traded Odell, they have not been really been getting good wide receivers at all. They've been kind of lacking in that department. So I do think that was just kind of an interesting thought I had kind of digging into a lot of this stuff here today. Let me know what you think in the comments. Did Odell get sent to the Browns to die? Was it kind of a spite, pity move out of the Giants to send him to the Browns? Maybe give comments of what you think could have went right for Odell in that Browns tenure. Did he buy in? Was it Baker's fault? Just kind of your general comments on the content here today. But again, thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please hit that subscribe button. If you like content like this, or if you like this video, hit that subscribe button. If you like content like this, go ahead and explore my channel a little bit more. We've been talking a lot of NFL this week because it's, prime of the NFL season. We also like to talk NBA, college hoops, college football. Subscribe, like this video. We've been doing this podcast now for over, 3-4 years now. We're just now starting to put clips like this on YouTube. So hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button will really help support the show. Let me know that I'm doing a good job here. So thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you next time. We'll have a few more videos out today. Make sure you check them out.